Good day to you, everyone, and welcome to the Bridge to Freedom series. And today we are going to be talking about feats and failures, lessons, not losses. Yes, that's a common thread in what we all see in what we do every day. First, before I go into the topic today, for those of you who might be joining us for the first time, I want to be able to let you know the background behind Bridge to Freedom and to invite you to be a member of the Bridge to Freedom Facebook group, where we do have a goal of 200 people. And after the 200, we're going to cut it off. It is an intentional opportunity for me, for my network, and people who have experiences, who have done a lot of experiential learning to be able to bring their ideas, to bring their knowledge, and to share. And we learn together to be able to pivot and be that individual that we are created to be. So, welcome to all of you who have joined us. The next 28 minutes now will be used to talk about the topic that we're talking about today, feats and failures, lessons and not losses. There's so many ways we learn, so many ways that we as individuals learn. And part of learning is actually failing, because when you are learning and you have failed in that particular transaction or activity, you are learning forward, because whatever you did initially that made you not to achieve that result, I bet you won't do it again. And every time for one, I reminiscence on a lot of things that I have experienced or I've seen people experience that didn't quite give them the result they wanted then. That hot time that they expected it, they didn't quite get it. But when they didn't give up, the result came. And you could say, oh, when the initial attempt came and the result didn't come, which some people might call failure, I don't, but it's a stopgap to say, okay, what do I do next to pivot? So when these people experience whatever it is that made them not to go the level they wanted to go, and they didn't give up, they didn't quit. Of course, did they have a down moment? I bet you they did. Did they have to feel sorry for a minute, a moment? Yes, they did. Like I had to feel sorry a moment a few times when my business went from up to rock bottom, when I went through a political setting that didn't quite pan out, when I left corporate America to start something great when I was in corporate America. And I knew that there were things I was doing. And a lot of times I didn't see the results I wanted, but I stuck with it. I persevered and I saw the result at the end of it. So what you would learn is the ability to receive and embrace those moments that gives you opportunity to do things better. Where people call it failures, they're also fits that come through that experiential learning of not quite getting to that finish line that you wanted at that point. But if you stay strong, if you stay focused, you will get there. I can tell you because I've been there and I know so many people who have been there. It starts in your mind. You have to get your mindset on a autopilot of positivity. You have to get your mindset strong enough that you feel and believe that you can equip your mind, you can equip yourself, you can equip your network with positive, coachable, teachable moments that gives you that experiential learning, not just associating with network that you're just there as another number or just there for that testimonial that you don't even feel like you're walking close to how yours will be. It starts in your mind. You've got to have a sense of belonging, and you have to have a sense of love for yourself. You have to be your own best friend. That is so, so interesting that you will say that. If you're hearing me and you're thinking, be your own best friend. Yes. You've got to be your own best friend, your own cheerleader, your own driver, because that inner drive is what's going to propel you. One thing you have to stop and understand, when you have a vision, we always don't have all the provisions lined up right away. But if we sit back and think back through what we have been through, what we have experienced, where we have been, exposure, experience, expansion, all of those things that we have been through, we would always understand that at the end of it, we stood tall. We might not be able to go back and think of every single step, but I dare make bold to say, sit back when you have those low moments. I dare to say, sit back and think back, get your pen, get your paper, do a journal, start putting down those things that you can remember that worked. As you do that, you will see a few smiles here and there, and put another piece of paper to pen and say, what could have been done differently that didn't quite work? And you will see a few things that jumps right at you that you didn't see. You know why that jumped at you? Because you went through that experience. You went through that experience. So because you went through that experience, you could, on at the hindsight, say, you know what? I could have done this. I could have done this, or I did this, but I could have done it this other way. And when you set up information, when you set out to be something or do something, if you didn't quite make it well, you have to be able to put pen to paper and put your thoughts down. What went well, like I said in the initial series, always validate yourself, guys. You are the driver. You're not competing with anybody because there are not going to be two of you that think exactly the same, that exactly want to do the same thing all the time, or that like the same people. There's never going to be two people. Even in a family, two people would not be exactly alike. And because you know that, you are that original, that authentic self that the world is waiting for. They're not waiting for a carbon copy. They're not waiting for somebody, the wannabes, because they want to be like this person and that. They're waiting for your originality. They're waiting for you and I. And they have waited because they have seen things that attract them, that attracted them to you. For those who are listening to us or that will listen later, they would have seen some things here and there that they've watched the Remy Duyele brand do or not do. And they are, of course, looking and saying, what can I learn from what she did or what she didn't do? Or how could I better be the best version of myself? Not necessarily being like her, but learning some of the things that she learned to be where she is. Some of those things might be of interest to you, some might not. I've heard people say, you know what, Remy, that lane of the political space, that's not me. I get it. I get it. That lane of just being out there and being a social butterfly with an intentional networking for impact, that's not going to be me, Remy. But I can be that back end person who can cheer you on, who can give you the feedback. Wherever you fit in, guys, that's your gift. That's your lane. Make that lane the best lane anyone have ever seen and continue to develop your original self so that you never one day feel like, oh, you are not doing well because you're trying to chase after somebody. Guys, what you don't understand, leaders too have struggles. Leaders have struggles. Leaders to believe, at least a good leader will believe that they are still learning, they are work in progress. Nobody has all the answers. Absolutely nobody. Nobody has all the answers. All the leaders we're looking up to, if you see where they are grinding quietly, preparing so they can show up and show out every single time because they know they have shoulders leaning on them, you would just say, wow. And you feel real with yourself. You will feel real with yourself and say, oh, I can do this. It takes preparation, guys. It takes preparation. It takes you knowing that you don't know it all and you will never know it all. But can you learn enough to be that person to deliver what your impact and your agenda for the world to be a better place is? Yes. And it will take my favorite word, as shown in my book, my first book that I authored alone, perseverance, the winning key to your destiny. That word perseverance is so germane in everything we do. And persevering doesn't mean that you feel less off or you're powerless. It just means you understand you will develop a thick skin in situations whereby you want to get your voice out there. You hold your peace. You hold your peace and you take it in. You don't always tell people where they need to belong right away. You don't tell them off. Don't fight your own battle because those people you want to fight prematurely, they will be your destiny helper. At some point, they will stop fighting you. They will stop hating. Even if they don't, who cares? They're going to stop worrying about you because they see that you are all minding your business and creating value to the world. They will come to your corner. They might not be your best friend, but I challenge you to give them a chance to evolve before they embrace you, if it is meant to be. And sometimes some people have come for such a time as this, for a season, a period. And that's what I've been learning the past few years of my life. Some people are just there for that season, or just that period, or just that moment. And because that's all they're there for, when they are done, they might get quiet on you. That's why you need to be in a program like Bridge to Freedom. When you're experiencing those quiet moments of those who maybe you have believed in or you think they should be there and they're not, guess what? They are going through life too. They are going through life. And because they're going through life, they too can have a moment that they want to be quiet and be that individual that won't be there for you. Not because they hate you, they too are trying to evolve. So, guys, we've got to understand that our mindset has a lot to do with how we end up in this journey of your fit and failures not being called losses, but lessons. Lessons from an education perspective. When you're in a lesson, you're there to teach. You're there to learn too. So the lessons you're learning through a process that might not be progressive enough to where you want to be, it's not the end of it. You know who can stop that move? You. But if your mindset is made up to say, you know what? This idea, this business that I birthed came out of passion, and it came out of passion when nobody knew that that was in me. So why should we fret when they are not there, when you want to take it to that next level, or when you see another vision that will help you advance to that next level? They might still be in the back end. People still see me as Remy the banker, Remy the money person. So when they see me take my space as an educator, when they see me take my space as a communicator, as a leadership thought person, they wonder, you're doing everything. No, you're not doing everything. All of these pieces of the puzzles are needed so that when you have those moments that not quite what you want, that people in the world call failure, you don't stop there. That's where you start and you go. Every day I reminiscence on what we could have done differently during our campaign that we ran for over 18 months. And every day we feel these are things we could have done, but we smile at it. We're stronger because of it. And we look at the things that we gained during the whole process, the people we met in the community, the networks that got expanded, the people who understood now that we are leadership thought driver. We are a community developer. It's not just about a position that you're looking to get at that point. It's about expanding your network in your community where you serve. What is that thing you are working on? And I know most of us are professionals or we're up and coming and we're still trying to figure it out. Guys, it's okay. You can figure it out. You can give yourself a chance to figure out. because when you figure it out, you're going to be stronger for it. When you figure it out, you are going to be stronger for it. Be kind to yourself. A lot of what you're going to hear from me will heavily rest upon you and how you receive it, because you can be in a network and not be working. I'll say that again. You can be in a network. It could be a enriched network, and you could be there and not working. How do you work in a network to make it profit you? Because we say network will be your net worth. Not always. Not always. You've got to understand how to walk that net so that you don't let the noise get over you, but instead the echo, the political games, the clicks, the things that are human and humane, that people will behave due to their own agenda, doesn't stop you from seeing the value in that network, because there's somebody in that network that was probably what drew your attention to it. Then you got there and they started their shenanigan, they started their little clicks, and they started to make you feel like you're not welcome here, and you're thinking, I paid my way to be here, especially if it's a paid network. But guess what? Just because you paid to be in a network doesn't mean you can engage in that network. But we will show you the how to not let the echo drown you, especially if you came on a purpose for a mission to better yourself and to better others. Truly. However, if you were able to set such high standards to even get started in the first place, because it is a high standard, guys, for you to step out and say, I want to start my own business. I want to grow from being a teller to a vice president. I want to be able to move from this level of officer position to this level. That takes a lot of work, because this is you planning your own agenda for what you want to achieve. And it's going to take a lot of work. In my case, it took a lot of work. I got chastised for dressing too much for the building. Here I am, a young banker, excited about life with my MBA, coming in and minding my business and looking to rise in corporate America. But behind the teller line, I was stood up, because growing up in my home country, bankers were always looking decked up. I didn't know what their roles in the bank was. All I knew is that anybody that walked through the bank looked good and they dressed good. So for me, growing up as a young girl, that was my mindset. So when I got a job with my MBA and started as a teller, where did your girl, Remy, do you lady, go? To the store to get all my suits and all my stuff in order. And of course, that attracted a lot of negativity. Oh, she dresses too much for the building. Guess what? I was dressing for my greatness. I was not there to be a teller. I wanted to get my food into the door. You might be hearing me, and you can echo some of this, and you're thinking, oh, she just hit it. Join the Bridge to Freedom. There's many more that we will talk about that would address your need now. I will share the link. As I'm talking, I'm always learning how to multitask. So I will share the link that you definitely can leverage to be able to ensure that wherever you are, you do not get swallowed by the echo. It takes practice, it takes tenacity, it takes loving on yourself, knowing that you're your best friend, walking into a room alone, knowing that you earned the right to be there. So you walked in alone. Big deal. You were invited and you're there. So you have to own the space. That is your fit. That building of your fit is what's going to make the so called perceived failure not as difficult to rebound, to reset, because you've got something within to pull from. You've got to wear your thinking cap when you walk into a setting that you feel a little bit intimidated. You immediately zone in to those successes that you have enjoyed due to hard work and just being an ordinary person. You get into that zone. Once you get into that zone, then you're able to build yourself So when there's a situation of failure or not doing what you expected or not getting the result you expected, you are not going to feel down for long, maybe a minute. Guys, I'm serious. I've been there. You are going to shake it up because you can count so many other things that you are doing, that you can do, that can help that situation better, especially if you think beyond yourself. It is important, I said it earlier, that you are your own best friend because it takes you and you alone to get back up. You're the only one that will help yourself get back up because all of the different network or different people, family, friends who maybe were there when you started the journey and the journey didn't end the way they expected, they're still going to be feeling sorry for you or feeling bad that you're not in it so that maybe the deliverables they wanted now they see that it's a setback for them, but it's a comeback for you guys. If you are your own best friend, it is going to be a comeback because you went in and you learned. You didn't go in closing your eyes or your ears or your brains. You went in all in. And every day you experience different things. And that has been the story of my life. Like I said, I do not go where I am tolerated. I go where I'm celebrated. And I say that humbly because I know what I carry. And you've got to know what you carry. And if you're not carrying anything, it's okay. Come to Bridge to Freedom. Come and join our Facebook group. You will get this and you will nail it. That is the goal. That's why we're starting now. We are trusting all of you to engage and come before the next year ends. Testimonials will birth forth. We have so many mentees all over the world who have used the method and are doing it, and they're in Fortune 5, 10 companies, and they're still doing it. We are saying, come in, be part of the family, and don't be a quitter. I'm never a quitter. And I keep saying am because part of the bridge to freedom is you can see me as that individual who is ordinary, who can also do extraordinary things, not because I'm so smart than anybody else. It's just because I don't quit and I am ready to work. WRK. Of course, I can WLK, but the real deal is the WRK. Get the work in. That is exactly what you need to do. Don't be a quitter. I am the same one who climbed the corporate America ladder. Same one. It just happened in the early 90s and late 80s. That's the only difference. Same Remy did it before with all of the things that she went through and had to do it. So I'm trusting that I can do it again. Why not? I did it before, so I can do it again. So never quit. Never quit. Start where you are with what you have, guys. You've got what you need to start. And like one of my mentors would say, do it afraid. You can do it afraid, but start where you are. You've got every single thing that you need to start where you are. Absolutely. And I'm telling you, you do. So when you kick into that and you join a group where you can learn together, then you can believe it because I'm part of groups myself. I'm not just telling you, you have to feel yourself in order to be able to point to others. I'm constantly filling myself with mentors and mentees. I enjoy a lot of reverse mentorship, guys. That's another thing we're going to talk about in the Bridge to Freedom. Reverse mentorship works, it exists. It is the most organic, authentic way to expand your horizon and be that individual. But we'll leave that for another day. So I'm watching my clock. In another 3 minutes, we end this segment. But I want to be able to share some thoughts and also to let you know, starting next week. I know those of you in the group, you're wondering what's going on. I'm part of this. We are going to start from next week, Thursday. We are going to start a coaching session, which I will jump in the Facebook group from 11:45 to 12:15 for 30 minutes. I'm there with you. You're there together, and we are talking and we are engaging and we're being transparent with each other. Because if we want to go farther together, we've got to carry each other together and be open so that every needs that we have, we can get some of those things done so that you're not stuck. Because some of you have told me you're stuck. There's no need to be stuck. You're not alone. Always know you're never alone. Never, never are you alone. Never, never. And success is built on a foundation of failure. If you've never failed, you will never be stronger. And when I say fail, you might not have failed in that particular thing that you did one time and got it. But if you look back to everything else you've done, there might have been some ounces of failures that made you to now be gun ho in this new venture that you did one time and boom, you got it. So never think that failure is something you run away from. Even though in the world, success has cousins. And we always jokingly say failure is an orphan because nobody wants to associate with it. But you have to validate that moment and use that moment to say, yes, I'm ready. How many people had the boldness to come out to say, I'm running for an office? How many people had the boldness to say, I'm going to leave corporate America, earning a six-figure salary when it was not even popular in a culture where diversity was not even existing, and still rose to vice president? So when you look at your fits, what are those fits? What are those great moments that you've experienced? You're going to just sit back and chill out, guys, sometimes and say, Lord, thank you. You've got me. You've got me covered. But you got to do the part. We got to do the part. We can over spiritualize things. We've got to do the work, WRK. And that's why we are going to be transparent with each other. So join the Bridge to Freedom. I've posted the link. I also have another link that I want to post. So if you want to get on my calendar to have a chat for 15 minutes, I can do that just for you guys. So I am going to post that and I will end the call and hope to see you on Tuesday as we continue to build together that bridge to freedom. And always remember, freedom is not free. Freedom is not free. So you've got to ensure that you make it work for you. So I just posted that link also for you to be able to book your 15-minute uh, interest chat to see where are you and what is happening in your neck of the wood and how can we be this Bridge to Freedom family of movers and shakers. And very soon you start seeing us having guests who would also mirror our value system. The guests that we will bring, they will share, they will mirror our value system. I believe that together we can rise. Still we rise. We can rise together. Your success does not stop mine, but together we can share, care, and return to add value to lives. And as we make impact, we can make money too. There's nothing wrong with it. We can increase our career too as we help others get farther ahead in their career. Thank you so much for joining us today on this episode. I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. And of course, if you have time, join our Empowerment Sunday with Remy. That's also another way to set the week ahead. All the time, you can reach me on Facebook. You can email me. I'm very active on my Facebook page, especially if you have anything that has to do with the Bridge to Freedom. I ask that you please inbox me on the Bridge to Freedom Facebook page. That is a baby for me. That's something that is big, is a big deal, and I know we can do it. So thank you so much for joining. Take care. Blessings.